What's up, y'all? All right, we're getting to the end of the vintage air installation. I've got the last piece to go in for right now, and this is going under the driver's side dash, and it's not going in because it's too big. And the reason it's too big is because, so follow me here, this opening goes on here. It's hard to show you, but it goes, can you see that? There, right here. So that's the vent, right? It goes on the back of this. And then you see how it's got this right angle and it goes down. Then this part right here, it's supposed to run under, like right under there, under here. The problem is this thickness here is it's too thick, because there is, and I'll try to show you, I don't know how successful this is going to be, but there is a well, right there, you see this brace that goes up, yeah, right here, this brace, it hits the back of that, so there's just physically not enough room. I had this thing in, and this thing was like way out here. This was way out here, and it was just all binding. So I cannot use this. I'm not going to use this piece. It's way too big. I don't know what Vintage Air was thinking. Maybe they think some cars have the brace and some don't, but you cannot fit this. I mean, I can't fit it in this 1971 C3. It's a non-AC car, so maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. But anyway, this is, for me, this is garbage, useless. So what I did is I just went to Home Depot. I got a piece of 2-inch ABS. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut, because this is like way more than I need. I don't know why they make this tube so long. It only has to go like right to there. So I'm gonna cut maybe about that much, like, what is that, about 8 inches off of this. I'm gonna run this flexible hose from the back of the vent, and I'm gonna just run it down, and then I'm going to get a little section of this ABS, and I'm just going to make my own replacement for this portion. So, you know, about that much. What is that? So that's about 9 inches right there. So like, maybe I'll start off a little longer, maybe do like 11 inches, and then I can cut it down. So what I'm gonna do, you see, I gotta squish it into an oval. And I just asked the dude at Home Depot, I said, will this melt and squish? And he said, yes. So I'm gonna cut this. Maybe I'll just do half in case I mess it up. Then I'll have another half to work with. So I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to put it between a couple pieces of wood in my vise and put a little pressure on it. And then I'll heat. I have to do one side at a time, I think. I don't know if I can heat both sides. Maybe. Depends how I can clamp it. Or maybe I'll just use clamps between a couple pieces of wood. And I'm going to try to heat this on the edges, on the sides, and I'm going to try to squish it into an oval. And we'll see how that works. I think it should work okay. This tubing is about 2¼ inches. So I'm just going to show you, like, this goes on pretty easily on there. So I might put a little bit of something around the ends of the tube, but you know, you can just you could zip tie or clamp it on. I'm not worried about it coming off, but I might do like some rubber, some foam or something around the end. We'll get to that later. All right, so for right now, the goal is to see if I can squish this ABS. So we'll check back, and I'll try to show you a little bit of the process, but you get the idea. Here we go. It's clamped. I got my heat gun. I'm gonna start heating it and applying some pressure, and we'll see if we can get this thing to stay in an oval. I don't know. We're gonna find out together. Well, there's the answer to the question. It's still a little warm, so I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hot, so I'm not gonna grab it. Let me see if there's something I can fish it out with. Come on. Hang on. All right. Okay. Let's take a look. It's not the prettiest, but I think it's gonna do the job. Yeah, the problem is there's not really a way to control the smush. So like here you can see I got it a little hotter. I guess, you know, if you want it totally even, you got to put it in an oven or something. Maybe I'll try that. Put it in the barbecue and then just squish it. But I have a feeling it's going to be really hard to, let me cool this thing off with the fan. I have a feeling it'll be really hard to get this thing to collapse evenly, and you know, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to try this, but I'm encouraged by this. I think to answer the question, will ABS smush when it's heated? The answer is definitely yes. And then it's just a matter of, you know, can you get it the right shape? But, you know, nobody's really going to see this anyway. I don't really care. I like that it's already black. I don't have to paint it or do anything. I could fiddle around with it, you know, maybe it's still kind of hot, but I could probably, you know, fiddle around with it if I want to try to work on this. Maybe, you know, get this so it's not as smushed right there. You fiddle around, get a rod and like jam it in there or whatever. But I'm just not sure it's worth it. I do have the other piece. I might try one more. But you know, I think we're on the path. We're on the right track. And then the other thing I might do is flare these ends just a tiny bit if I can. Maybe just by hand, like get some pliers or something, and flare these ends so when the ducting goes on, it'll hold on, and it'll also be like the air won't be hitting this edge right here as much, and just open it up a little. But we'll see. We'll do some test fitting once this cools down. Check it out, you guys. That is the barbecue version. That's my heat gun, which is not terrible, but I'm excited about this barbecue version because it's smooth. Now, I'll tell you what I did, but first, look at the ends. They got naturally flared. Okay, so first of all, I had a little bit of this stuff, this heat shielding, and I just happened to have some in the garage, so I got it off of the grill. I fished it off with this thing. I just stuck this thing in there and then carried it over here, and then I folded this over, and then I just I put this piece of metal on the top, which I had sitting around, and I just pressed on it gently. Now what happened was it was like this. For some reason, when I pressed on it, the top side, the top, smushed down flat. I know it looks like it would be like that. I just flipped it over, which is interesting because I had it in the barbecue. So let me show you what I did. I put it in my Weber. I had one burner on high over here, and then I just put the piece over here. And I don't know why it was so unevenly heated, but I guess you want to flip it. I had it on, it was about at, like when I came out here, it was right at about 300 degrees. And it was in there for not even 15 minutes. I want to say maybe 10 minutes. So that's just what I did. And it got soft enough to bend. You've got about 2 minutes to work with it before it's going to start firming up. And you could reheat it, I suppose, but you know, best to do it in one shot. And that's it. That's where we're at with this. So I think I'm going to go with this one just because it's got these kind of flared ends, which I like because I need a little extra to get the hose, the ducting to stick. I'm still gonna probably wrap these ends in foam, like some sort of foam rubber tape or something. But I like this because I've got options. I can either put it, you know, this way under the steering column and mount it somehow, or I can go anyway, either this way or this way. I don't know what's better. I think it's about the same either way, so maybe I'll just do this to keep minimal interference with my feet on the pedals. But the way it turned out, it's about the same height, maybe a tiny bit taller. Yeah, it's a tiny bit taller than the oval-ish one that I did, but it's still fine. I could squish this top part a little more. I could put a heat gun on just the top and maybe squish it a tiny bit. Maybe I'll do that just to get it flat. I don't want any interference when I mount it in there. I don't want any interference with my feet touching on the pedals, you know. So we'll see. I'll maybe do a test fit and see how it goes. But that's it, you guys. ABS 2-inch tubing from Home Depot. I got this 2 foot by 2-inch piece. It was like under $6. Well, actually, that's because they rang it up as 1.5. I think the 2-inch was like $7, $8. But they couldn't find it in the computer, so I got it a buck or two cheaper. I think this is gonna work. Again, we're getting rid of this, and we are using this. And I cut the tube. I just taped it with some electrical tape over there, and then I used the piece that I cut to run directly. It's hard to show, but see, it's on the back there, and it snugs up perfect. You can just jam it on the back of that fitting, so you don't need this thing at all. And now I'm just gonna attach this end, and then we're gonna secure it right up in there like that. And it's gonna be way out of the way. It actually looks better because it's just one, I know this is in the way, but see, that's nice and clean. Look at that. Instead of that, whatever that is, with seams and weirdness. Now this did have a little bracket that I took off. Let me see if I can find it. So there was a little bracket, and it attached to there, and it gave you just a little spot to attach. It said to put a sheet metal screw, and it would kind of go like on this, like that. I could still use it, but I think it's gonna be unnecessary. They said to use the zip ties to just zip tie this thing up under the steering column. I think I'm just gonna use this Velcro. It's like, you know, Velcro strapping. You just cut a section, and then you can wrap it around, whatever. So I think I'm gonna do this just because it's easy and quick. It'll hold it fine. I mean, it doesn't weigh anything. And it'll hold it fine. Then I can take it out if I need to, real easy. I don't need to even cut anything. I just unvelcro it. So I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you. There we go. All right, gang. One more thing. I just want to let you know what I did here is I took the tape off on both sides. I had taped these on, but what I noticed is that this tubing actually doesn't like to twist. So if you tape it, and I had taped it when this thing was down lower, and then I put it up there, it was binding. It was kind of twisting all this up. So for now, I just ran the ducting. See, and there's plenty on here. I just ran it down farther on both sides, and I'm gonna leave it. This side is coming from the blower, so if it's gonna leak, it's gonna leak over here, but I don't think it will. And then I just ran, this doesn't look great, but I just ran a piece of Velcro up there. I might change this later to something else, but for right now, I'm just gonna do that. But I'm pretty happy with this. That goes up to the vent, no problem. And you're not really gonna see it because you're gonna be like up here. So you're not even gonna see that at all, but that's what it looks like under there. I'm pretty happy with that. It's just cleaner and easier, and I didn't have to wrestle this beast in there. Just lighter, and there's less crap in there now. There's actually more room in there, you know, as a result of doing this modification. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit, jump in the swimming pool because it's super hot out here, and the next step is just to work this back in there, get the center console kind of tied together, and then put the steering wheel on, put a seat in, and see if we can get this thing rolling. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.